time when she was young, corralled in a wooden playpen in a corner of the huge basement kitchen. There, in the rosy shadows between the gleaming fire range and the tall wooden dressers, she would amuse herself for hours with her wooden alphabet bricks, a sawdust-filled doll with orange hair, and a chewed cardboard book full of yellow lions and tigers and people waving Union Jack flags. She had velvety brown eyes, honey-coloured hair which went curly in the rain, and dimples. The kitchen maids, and even the smart-as-a-pin housemaids, were always picking her up and cuddling her, risking their starchy caps being pushed askew and their stiff white collars being dribbled on in the process of receiving one of Joan's soft baby kisses. I had green eyes and freckles and very dark straight hair, which never did anything interesting. I had long legs like father, long eyelashes like mother, and whenever I was thinking deep thoughts, an expression on my face which caused maids to remark, "Be careful now, if the wind changes you'll get stuck like that." In the early days I sometimes heard our mother say to people, "What a blessing Joan has always been such a good baby. Heaven knows what we would have done otherwise." I would feel a little put out on hearing this, for nobody ever remarked on my goodness. To a child who was bursting with curiosity, living below stairs in a world peopled almost entirely by busy servants, and where there were numerous forbidden doors and secret stairways, the achievement of staying good always required a great deal of self-restraint on my part. My mother would sometimes let Joan play with a wooden spoon and 2 or 3 of the jelly moulds made of shining copper, which were shaped like fish or rabbits or castles. They normally lived on one of the dresser shelves. In that big busy room, the noise my sister made with them could hardly be heard. It seemed to drift to the top of the arched stone ceiling and get lost up there. The ceiling stones near to the fireplace end were all blackened. My mother thought the stain had probably been caused by rising smoke and fatty steam from days long gone, when sides of meat had been cooked there on a roasting spit. A number of curious pieces of black metal and little wheels were still fixed in place in the wide chimney and on the chimney breast. Each of the high wooden dressers could hold a full dinner service on the lower shelves. The drawers and cupboards below stored all the cooking crockery, baking equipment, and other large utensils. On rainy days I was sometimes allowed to tidy out the dresser drawers, or at least the shallow ones. A space would be cleared for me in a quiet corner of the scrubbed stone floor, and I would lay out in order all the jumbled-up bits and pieces that were so necessary to the running of the kitchen, but were difficult to keep tidy. Things like piping bags, corks, string for trussing birds and rolls of meat, metal meat skewers, wax candles and pudding cloths. In other drawers were bunches of keys, tradesmen's order books, indelible pencils, bills and invoices, and a box of white chalks. The chalks were used for writing on the flagstones near the fire, the times when certain pots should be removed from the boiling end and drawn aside to simmer. Sometimes there would be chalked messages saying things like, "Do not bang," when there were soufflés in the oven. But my favourite indoor occupation was to sit perched up on a high stool with a cushion on it, at a corner of the long scrubbed kitchen table, and either draw pictures of what I saw or just watch my mother cooking. One morning when I was doing this, I became aware that an unusually large number of staff and other people were gathering together in the kitchen. Even the housemaids, who usually spent so much of their time looking after the mysterious kingdom upstairs, were down in the kitchen with us. The kitchen maids were present, naturally, because they belonged there. One of them, with floury forearms, was carrying on making pastry, while the other was turning the handle of the mincer with her right hand and pushing a cold saddle of mutton into it with her left. I knew that later on 3 big mutton pies for the servants' hall would emerge from the oven. Then I saw the scullery maid emerge from her steamy den with her red hands hidden under the brown sackcloth of her outer apron. Thomas and William, the footmen, were there in their shirt-sleeves and aprons, having just come from washing glasses in the pantry. The chauffeur, also in his shirt-sleeves, had come in from hosing down cars in the cobbled courtyard. His wet Wellington stood